time, the president's going to propose a package of short-term spending cuts and tax reforms in an effort to avoid the looming sequester cuts set to take place on March 1st. The president's scheduled to speak today at 1:15 p.m. If Congress does not act, the budget cuts will amount to $1.2 trillion by 2021. Half of the sequestration will apply to the military budget, with reductions of $55 billion a year. Republican Congressman Thornberry of Texas, vice chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, he's on Capitol Hill this morning. Congressman, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So the early knock on the president's speech today is that it's yet another attempt to avoid the sequester. You've said the sequester will be painful. Is this a legitimate way around it?
Well, I don't know the details. What I do know is that twice over the past year, the House has passed a bill to replace the across-the-board cuts with targeted spending cuts in high-growth programs, so that you still make a dent in the debt, but you don't hurt our military readiness. I hope that's what he's going to talk about, because that's the way that makes the most sense.
What kind of damage do you envision on defense if, in fact, the sequester takes place? We had a long discussion over the past couple of weeks about Northrop Grumman stock, just judging from what had happened in the final few weeks of last year as people worried about the fiscal cliff. How bad could it be?
It's going to be pretty bad, because remember, the defense budget is only 19% of federal spending, and yet it has to absorb 50% of the cuts. Military salaries are exempt. This is a very dangerous world, so we've got lots of operations in the Middle East and other places. So that means that where you do cut, it's going to be much, much deeper. You're going to have furloughs of civilian personnel, most likely. You're going to just stop sending Navy ships to some places. You're going to decrease our ability to deal with the unforeseen contingencies that could happen anywhere around the world. So it's security, but it's also economic. You're right.
For the idea that we keep defense protected, the president may insist on other things in kind, like some sort of revenue. How open is the GOP to that?
If he talks about more tax increases, then I think it's all a political sham. Taxes have been decided. They were decided with the fiscal cliff deal that Congress approved and the president signed earlier this year. Now the target has to be on spending, and it really needs to be on mandatory spending, which is 2/3 of the budget. You can't balance the budget on defense. As a matter of fact, if you eliminated defense, it would not balance the budget. So it's got to be the mandatory programs. That's where we got to focus on. And if he talks about anything else, I think he's playing games.
Really? If that happens, I mean, if revenue is a component, I mean, we got 90 minutes until he speaks, but is it DOA in that case?
Yeah, I think in both the House and the Senate, everybody agrees that taxes have been decided. Bringing up more tax increases is not going to go anywhere. It's not a serious attempt to prevent sequestration. I hope that the commander-in-chief will do better than that.
We will see at 1:15. Congressman, thank you so much for your time.
Sure.
Congressman Thornberry.